All right, let's kick off with some good news. Who's got something good they want to share with us all? Todd's cruising this week, so you have me, if that wasn't clear.
Caruso.
Where's you cruising?
I actually don't know.
I was cruising last week,
It's his
so
parents' 50th anniversary cruise, so I think
okay.
all of the family have gone on a
It's
cruise.
probably somewhere fairly epic then. Yeah,
I would think it's somewhere nice,
yeah.
for sure. So, come on, who's got something good that they would like to share from the real estate world?
Um, I mean, I feel like I'm in past my eyeballs at the new office. But it's an okay, like I feel good every day. I feel energized and I feel like I'm accomplishing stuff. Um, we had a right, so part of the struggle here is they're very archaic in everything they do, and they charge really like way lower than what I'm comfortable with in
Yeah.
commissions, right? So on average, they're probably taking maybe three, right? Let's say on a buy side or on a sell side, right? So Tony's a brand new agent, and you guys will meet him. He's coming to the conference. He's an absolute rock star, but he had a walk in, so we went and did the listing preview,
Yeah.
came back to the office, presented, signed him at four and a half, right? 4.5%, which is what I want to, right, where I want him at. And the guy bucked it a little bit. We explained our value, right? Told him what we're going to do, and zero issues, locked and loaded, right? And that was it was huge for Tony to see that, just to see like, oh, okay, yeah, like this is
That's
how
awesome.
we can do it. And um, I do, and I don't know what kind of what you've got on the agenda. I do have one thing that if I could pick people's brains, or if we could,
Absolutely.
I've
Yeah.
got it. So there's three existing agents here. There's the old broker owner who's here. He'll be gone. He's leaving end of the year anyway. So he's kind of just doing his own thing and slowly, petering out. Got three other agents that were here. I've got two agents with me in here that came in. I'm treating them just like I ran my team, right? They're part of the team, my team. I'm covering the expenses. They're getting 50% of the split. But I'm covering everything. We all do it the same way. This is how we do it, right? The bar's here.
Yeah.
One of the existing three agents in this office has already approached me and said, "Hey, I think I would like to do what they're doing," which means that she's going to take a pay cut, right? They're all getting paid more than 50 here.
Yeah.
And so my question is from just a business, right? They're going to want a lot of the bells and whistles that I'm doing and offering, right? We're doing 4K cinematic video reels, we're doing Matterport scans, we're doing Zillow showcasing, like we're doing a lot of stuff. I'm paying for it all. They're starting to inquire like, hey, how do we get that? And part of me is like, well, the only way you get that is to be on my team, right? So
Yeah.
we need to flip your model. I don't know that I guess my concern, they're older. I'm trying to figure out, do I just like basically just say, hey, this is it? Like you either have to do this or this. And like, I kind of feel like that's slightly being a dick because I'm coming in, I buy the place and it's just like, yeah, take it or leave it. Right. Um, but I also don't really want to give it to them like a la carte option and be like, oh, well, you can do all this, this, and this, and you pay, it's real weird then. It's just too, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just looking for insight on how I approach. There's really one agent that I'm worried is she's just kind of always Debbie Downer and negative, and she's nice, but she just sees everything as, you know, she's the pessimist, not the optimist. And so,
Yeah. So the
uh,
advice that we've given people before when they're like changing their business model, right? It's that simple,
yeah, yeah,
is you can offer people one of two things. They can stay in their existing agreement that they were on with the same level of service they were receiving from the previous agreement and the same splits and all the other stuff. And you're happy to honor that. Or if you would like to join our team, this is what comes with that, and this is what
yep,
the fee is. I
yeah.
really think it's that simple, but I
Okay.
think you maybe you have to decide, do you want to offer that to everybody, or do you only want to offer that to certain people?
Well, that's right. That's a valid question because part of me is like, no, I don't want to offer
Right.
it. I almost just
So,
want them to just slowly go into retirement and,
correct.
disappear in the next year or two. It'll be
Now,
fine.
you could phrase it in the beginning as something like, if you're interested, you can let me know. There's no guarantee that we would bring you onto the team. We need to figure out whether it makes the most sense for everybody.
Yep.
You
Yep.
could phrase it in that way if you wanted to
Yep.
address everybody.
Yep.
Otherwise, you address it with the ones that you're interested in having. And if
Yeah.
somebody else comes up to you and you just be like, "Hey, I'm just being honest. Like, I didn't think it was a great fit for what we offer and what you, I think,
Yeah.
want."
Yeah.
Give that
What
guy.
about some of the stuff they're offering, like lead source wise, he's been offering an insane amount of leads. Like, and my prerogative, one, because I know Tony and John are going to convert better, is starting to funnel more to them. But I'm just looking at, I mean, I ran through it this morning and just put a punch list together, and it's like, oh, good God, they're getting like multiple lead sources are just flying in. And I'm like, so part of me doesn't, yes, I want to honor the old way, but the old way might slightly change as far as like, ooh, these leads may not be accessible anymore because
And I think that's totally
can't
fine.
afford to do that. Like,
It's a business acquisition, just like any other business acquisition. There's going to be some things that change, and people can make the decision whether or not they want to stay or go.
yeah,
That I
yeah,
mean, that's just I mean, I'm just thinking of it on the most simplest business acquisition guidelines. It's
yep,
like,
yep,
I mean, that's the way
yep,
it would be in any merger,
yeah,
takeover. Some things stay the same, some things different.
yeah. Okay. No, that helps. Yeah. Okay.
Other good news, DM? Any good news from DM?
DM doesn't have good news. DM, tell us about your chickens.
I mean, I don't
DM.
know if it's good news. It just, the market is hard. My listing is moving, but I don't know. I'm keep waiting for that break.
Yeah.
You know, last year was pretty hard, and this year I thought we were gonna get somewhat of a break, and it hasn't been the case. And
Yeah, I mean it's same, right?
When you say hard and looking for a break, what do you mean?
it's just hard. I mean, every deal, every deal, the listing take everything I've got to move them, you know, there's just less buyers and you're doing a lot more just trying to find a buyer for your listing. And
What's your level of inventory right now, Matt?
Like internally or just what do
No,
you
just
mean?
like across your area.
Yeah, I mean, we're up as far
I'm
as
just curious if
inventory
it's
goes.
similar to what we have. I mean, we're anywhere from 3 months best to 8 months worst, depending on where
Yeah,
you're
and I would say we're 3 to 6 or two to
Okay.
five, right?
Okay.
So we're still better. I mean, we have things that are, I mean, they're gone immediately.
Yeah.
They're not sitting. But coming down here to Rome, I'm realizing, right, the second home market, they feel like they're struggling a little bit because they are sitting a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
These $700,000-800,000 waterfront or golf course home, they're not moving like they were during craziness, so
I mean, I've closed 15 transactions in less than 6 months. And that is more than what I normally do in 6 months, on a normal year. So that part is good, but whew, it's a
The
lot.
effort to get them to the closing table
Yeah,
is
it's a
so much.
lot. It's like,
are you
you know what I
complaining
mean?
because you
Like,
have to work now, DM? Is that what you're saying?
no, I mean, I've
Oh, okay.
always worked, but it just
Just
like
joking.
the amount of work and stress that takes to move, my listing now is like I'm working hard and praying hard both and just keep chucking, but you do get tired. You're like, when am I gonna have one normal one? Just one normal.
Gibson made a comment this morning where he's like, I got an inspection report back on a house that we executed over the weekend, and it is crystal clear. And his comment was, if my buyers find anything in this that they want to complain about and try and terminate, I'm going to like lose it. But
Yeah.
that's like what buyers are wanting to do right now is like they're just being crazy at times.
I'm gonna personally fix the entire list.
And Matt, the area that
After
I
you
do a
beat him
lot
over
of,
the head with a baseball bat, then I'll
I
fix
think
it.
that's what Ian left that part out, but I said I'd smack him in the back of their heads.
yeah. And the area that I do a lot of business in, Matt, there's a lot of new construction and you know, you can walk down the street and find five other homes that are the same.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
mean, if you consider the builder inventory and everything together, I mean, I'm almost sitting at a 7 months
Yeah.
inventory.
Okay.
So
Which probably feels really weird, but if we rewind 5, 6 years, it's not that like that's not that bad,
yeah.
right? It's just we're used to
Different.
0 months or 1 month of inventory, you know.
It's a
Is
shift
there,
of mindset that we talk about all the time that we
I
just
mean,
get
I'm
stuck
telling
in
my
now.
guys here, this is way better because
Yeah.
now our value really stands out, right? Now you really got to sell a house, like you got to market a home properly and you have to,
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to other agents in my same area and everybody is struggling. So I know I'm not the only one. I know everybody's feeling it, but it's just on average, I take a listing in my area in Anna over 11 showings to go from active to pending. And I mean, I guess the good news is that my listing on average in Anna only take two showing to go from active to pending. So that's tell me I'm doing it right. And you know, my listing is standing out compared to the others.
Yeah.
But it's just like, where do I find these buyers and just shove them in the door?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Here's what we're going to talk about. So Todd has done a thing, and you've all done it with the tolerate, eliminate, delegate thing. We're going to focus on one area today, and I think it's going to be valuable by the time we get to the end of it. I hope so. So here's my first question for everybody. What is one thing in your business right now or your life? It doesn't have to just be business. That's why I told Courtney, I was like, I think this could be really good for you for her to be on. What is one thing in business or life right now where you know is where it shouldn't be, but you're just kind of tolerating it? So a few examples, some of them work related, not making calls consistently, not tracking, showing up late, following up with leads poorly, unresolved conflict, lack of exercise, financial stuff at home. What is one area right now where you can very clearly say is where it shouldn't be, and I'm just tolerating it? And you can write it down. I'd love a couple people to share. Who can share one thing that they thought of immediately that you're just tolerating?
Meal planning and the grocery budget.
Amen.
I'm over it. Why do we have to eat every day?
Why do
Three
we have
times for
kids?
that
Why do we have
matter.
kids that eat every day is the correct question, Courtney.
It's the 3 times a day and it's the kids. It's the kid.
Amen.
Court
Perfect
plans.
example. What else?
Yeah.
Who else is something that they are just tolerating every day? Well, not every day, but just tolerating in life or business.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody? Danielle?
I would say two things. One, I find that in my personal life, my yard, like I'm barely surviving just mowing and getting a few weeds, and I don't have my whole backyard right now is torn apart. So it's like dirt and toys back there. So it's not even like I have to handle the backyard, but I'm like, the front yard's a disaster. I feel like, I mean, I barely get it mowed in time. There's literally not one flower planted. It's just flower bed, not one flower, and grass, right? So that kind of stuff. I hate cooking. I hate grocery shopping. But one thing that happened to me this week is that I just have like even my personal paperwork bills, like I have everything on auto draft, so I don't even have to think about it, right? And one of my mortgage companies called me and said, hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. You were short on your mortgage this month. Your taxes went up and you're on auto draft, and that amount didn't get adjusted because I wasn't even opening the bill. I was just, it's on auto draft. I don't want to think about that. You know, I'm building a business. I don't want to have to deal with regular life bills, you know? So things like that. I just feel like I'm just definitely tolerating that kind of stuff.
Yep. I put down all of my subscriptions
Oh my gosh, yes.
because I have so many and guarantee I can trim some of them. And the idea of having to go and do it is just mind-numbingly, I don't want to do it. And so I just tolerate the fact that there's probably some in there that I don't need, and I keep paying for them. And I hate the fact that I'm doing that. So that's what I put down. So one point that I want to, why we're bringing this up is I think we've all heard some variation in life of like, you are what you put up with, kind of, right? Like, we put up with things every single day that we don't love. We compromise our standards at times as a parent, as a friend, as a team lead, as an agent. Like, we compromise some level of standard all the time with people that we lead. And eventually we do it so often that that's just kind of what we accept, right? We might at the very beginning try and change things, and then I mean I'd take parenting as an example. It's like, how many times did I have to tell my kids a certain thing when they were younger or older? And eventually I was just like, this just isn't worth the headache. Like, I'm just not worth the battle that I'm picking to do this. I can't even think of an example, but there's probably 50 of them where I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna give that in. Or at work where it's like, okay, like I know if I say our team, every single person on our team would say the worst thing that we do is track our numbers. Not our like closings and stuff, but our calls, our contacts, all of those conversations that we have, we just don't track them well. And that's my fault. And at a certain point, I've just kind of gone, all right, I'm gonna stop asking right now because however way I'm doing it isn't working. And now we're about to try a new way by doing something with some scorecards and some other things that I'm really hopeful might be the one that works. But there's definitely been just like it just hasn't been worth it in the grand scale of things to try and do that. And so I just accepted a standard that wasn't where we initially wanted to be. So that's kind of the overarching theme behind it, right? So as I ask you that, if I say that, and now I say, hey, who's got some examples in their life or in their business of like, okay, some other things that I just tolerated, and now I'm just like, man, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I could change that in my business. Like Matt, if you're coming in and going, okay, these are the things I'm seeing in this new business. What are the things that were tolerated for them before that I'm going to have to come in and change? Like, I'd love to hear some of those types of examples. Just a few minutes, and then I've got an exercise that I want us to all do.
Well, I mean, yeah, right. I feel like I've tried to take the mindset and have the heart that, okay, I'm not trying to like change everything for you guys like overnight. Like, somebody bought the business and so everything's changing. But I'm like, golly gee, could we do this or could we maybe do this? So I feel like there are things like that, right? Even just contracts we're using and what addendums, right? So even today we had a meeting and it was going over this addendum that I want everybody to use. And some of them are like, great. And some are like, well, why do we have to do this? And it's like, well, because you should have been like this. I mean, the law is changing. Like we really have to, like, this isn't
Yeah.
just like my personal preference, so yeah. Um, so I'm probably in the middle of a lot of it just because there's a lot of different little things that I'm really trying to figure out. Where do I push? Where is it
Yeah.
okay to push buttons and not push buttons when these aren't people that I hired or maybe would have even ever hired, right? But they're here, so I've got to.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think this might be a really good exercise for you, like a good timing exercise for you. So here's what I want everyone to do. You can grab a piece of paper and a pen or grab your tablet, I don't care, whatever you use to write on. The very top of the paper or tablet or whatever, I want you to put the question, what am I tolerating? And then underneath that question, there's going to be three columns. There's going to be a column with the title business. There's going to be a column with the title team. And there's going to be a column with the title personal. So business, team, personal. Now, if you're an agent on a team, that might be business. You could still do team because it could be like, hey, here's some of the things I would love to see our team doing more of, and personal. But you may have more in just the business and the personal if you're a team member as opposed to a team owner. Okay? So I'm going to give everybody till 2:30 at 6 minutes to work on all three of these columns: business, team, personal. Go. 1 more minute. Okay. Now I want you to spend a couple minutes thinking about and highlighting, circling, put pretty stars next to it, whatever. Three questions for you. Which one is costing you the most money? Which one is costing you the most peace? And which one would be like the biggest breakthrough, biggest needle mover in whatever area if you were able to fix that one thing? So, biggest one costing you the most money, the one costing you the most peace, and the one would be the biggest breakthrough needle mover for you if it was fixed. Spend, we'll do 2 or 3 minutes just thinking through that. If you want to do all three of those in each column, you can do that. If you just want to pick one from all over, you can do that. Whatever, that's up to you. Okay, who would like to share any of the answers to any of those three questions from your lists? More the merrier. At least one or two people shared something that they wrote down where you're just like, hadn't really thought about that. That would be a big needle mover. That would be a big thing that would bring us peace or cost money.
Okay, Ian, I'll go. Mine probably costing me money is my messiness and organization. If I had a little better system, I might do a few more deals, I have a feeling.
Yeah, it's fair.
Um, Most peace, probably a little more consistent exercise for me and eating. I've been a little, this last 6 months has been a little off the, hadn't been as sharp.
Yeah.
That would give me more peace for sure. That's all I got.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I
Neil,
put like a couple of things for me. I put uh like costing me the most money right now is probably like subscriptions. Like they all add up, and I could definitely trim our budget just by doing some of that type of thing. The biggest needle mover for me, biggest breakthrough would be referrals, like generating more personal referrals. And I just got my first one this year. That hopefully will close. It's in the contracts. We'll see. But just being reminded of like, oh, I mean, that's a really good chunk of income that we're missing. Like that would be huge if I can put some more emphasis on lunches and notes and things like that to generate those referrals. And then I think like piece wise for me, I think it's doing meal planning. It's making sure that my kids that are at home all summer are like they have food in the house. Like we have plenty of stuff in the house, but is it stuff that's gonna be healthy and be good for them and nutritious and or do we just am I just tolerating the fact that it's like, yeah, they'll eat ramen because they like ramen even though it's not the best thing in the world for them. He's on a ramen kick right now. So that was a few things I wrote down. Port, what'd you put?
I've had for peace, I've had on my mind these kids' bullet journals, setting them up for a while. I'm just realizing sort of that like they're not clear on expectations, and then I come in and I'm just like nagging because I want them to be efficient and function the way I do. So I'm just trying to think of a way to communicate expectations and let them own it. I kind of have this whole idea. I don't have to get into it, but I would like I want to set up these things for them.
Okay.
And then a needle mover, I just wrote that like there's several things that I think I need to sit down and make some decide once decisions about. So with meals and stuff, like, oh, okay, fine. But there's also mail. Yeah, let me come back. All right, cool. Thanks. And so, oh yeah, okay, some decide once things for food. This is what we eat on Tuesdays, kinds of things. And money, I don't know, I kind of worked on that a little bit today, and so I'd probably need to stop getting some coffee. I want to find some extra dollars. I'm trying to find a couple extra hundy a month, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear
And
you.
and I right when you said that, I texted a friend about a referral. Guys, fam, I experienced my first referral. Man, I see what y'all are into these now, you know? That's not been my life. I could really get into some referrals. Todd wants to murder me for sure, but Tramonte. Yeah, Toddy boy probably wants to murder me too. Okay, my
A lot of
counseling
Todd's
session's
in his
over.
life, everybody.
What? A lot
It's
of
a lot of
Todds.
Todd's. It's a real roller coaster when we go through.
So many Todds.
Very good. Anybody else willing to share?
Guys, do you think I manifested all these Todds in my life? My whole life, I wanted to have a goat and name it Todd in my backyard because I just thought that'd be hilarious. And now I have a boss and a boyfriend. Okay, goodbye.
Danielle, over to you.
Okay. So I missed the actual very beginning because a phone call came in. But from what you guys are saying, I would say the same thing will answer all of those questions. I've got my investment property down in Nephi, and it's taking up any moments of spare time. It's taking up every dollar, and it's very stressful. I'm in the middle of doing a condo conversion on one of the fourplexes on the unit, and once that is complete, I mean, it will just be so amazing, and that's taking up all of the extra energy that I don't already have.
So here's a question, and you can answer first, Danielle, if you want. The question I want to ask everybody is, we're all smart people, all of us, and yet we all tolerate things that we know we shouldn't. Why?
For me, um, I don't know. I have that mindset of um, don't complain, pull up your bootstraps and get the shit done. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I simply just hired out or did some things on the small things that I don't need to touch myself, it would eliminate a lot of that stress. But I'm so used to, and I think a lot of these our personalities is just to push through and get stuff done. That's just my opinion.
Sure, but to flip that, because one of the question I think so you said you missed the very beginning of it. So the question was, what do I tolerate? Okay, and the three columns were business, team, and personal. And
Oh,
my
okay.
point was like, hey, we tolerate things all day long that we know that we shouldn't just tolerate because they're not best either for us, for somebody
Mhm.
else. We tolerate stuff with our kids, we tolerate stuff with our team. We just tolerate it. We just kind of let it go. And then eventually, because we've tolerated it for so long, it's just something we now accept and do. And that's just the way it is. My question is why? Why are we okay just tolerating things? Real question. I'd love to just hear some answers, but why?
Maybe not to not rock the boat.
Sure.
I don't know to I don't know. With my kids, I had no problem holding the line, but I know that like in business and the team and things like that, sometimes I have to keep my mouth shut to sometimes keep the peace instead of push people. Um, and I don't necessarily think that's always right.
Yep. We have a team of agents that are individual contractors,
Mm-hmm.
and we have agreements in place about certain things. Certain things, the standard doesn't happen. Sometimes I just got to the point where I'm going, not worth the fight. What I should have the attitude of is, it is worth the fight. Because if it was worth the fight to put it in an agreement in the beginning, it's probably worth the fight to keep it going. But I think at times it just becomes like, for your point, it's like, but I see everybody working real hard, and I see everybody out there doing a bunch of stuff that we're asking them to do, no complaining, working crazy hours. So I'll just, not worth it. Whether or not that's the right thing or the right attitude at that time, I don't know the answer to that, but I know that it's something that I want to be thinking about.
I think it takes a lot of effort to function from a place of like being ahead versus like responding, like shuffling which plate gets to drop today and like,
Hmm.
okay, this is due. Both of these things are due. I can move this to and then things can start to pile up. Like it can
Hmm.
start to feel like I'm thinking about like social media and stuff, like reels and footage that I've filmed that can start to not feel like a priority, as much of a priority as like making calls and whatever. And so I'll just get behind in editing and uh, getting those things out. So,
Yeah. But I think too, like I think one really easy example is like debt, right?
did you say
Every
death?
yes, death. No,
Oh,
debt.
debt. Okay.
Debt. I'll enunciate.
Yeah, debt.
Um, like somebody can get like $100 in debt and they're like, okay, like I got $100 in debt.
Right. No big deal.
People would be like, I hate the fact that I'm $100 in debt. I'm paying that off yesterday.
Yeah.
But then it's the person that's like, I'm okay being $100 in debt. Now they're $500 in debt and they tolerate it, and
Mhm.
$1,000 in debt and they tolerate it. And every next level becomes, I will just tolerate it. And then people find themselves in real trouble. And we've had to go through debt. Like everybody has, I'm fairly certain at some point in their life has gone through some level of debt. And it feels amazing when you get out of debt. but I know I've just tolerated it at times because it's like, well, we've got a low interest rate, or we've got no interest, we've got whatever. We bought from Rooms to Go and it was interest free for 4 years. It's like, it's awesome. So there's definitely been like things like that we've tolerated, but yeah, I just think we know we shouldn't, and yet we do. But I also think I think there's fear associated with it, like Danielle was saying. I think it's just easy at times to just tolerate things. Like that's the easier outcome. Um, and so I think that's just kind of like something to think about. So
I
here's
think also with me,
yeah,
and I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when I am on the mark, like getting everything accomplished, I'm realizing that um, my boundaries are no longer there, right? Like if I don't answer this text right now at 10 o'clock at night when my client texts me, it's going to pile up, right? And then I also find that um, my my OCD is like overbearing to some people at that point, right? Because I am so like getting every single thing done, my daughter will be like, Mom, don't use your business voice in this conversation. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just feel like sometimes we can go both ways where we are, yes, letting things go by the wayside, but then on the opposite, we might be so on point that it's too much as well. And we're not letting our boundaries of we need personal time to happen as well.
yeah, there's only so much time in the day, right? And so it's like you have to dedicate yourself to some things, and then you're gonna know you're just gonna have to be okay with some other things not happening. I wrote an email that I sent today, um, under Todd's name. But one of the things that I wrote in there, I was tying it into the conference, which you all have tickets to, so you didn't get the email. But it was basically saying like, "Hey, how disciplined are you?" Obviously, the World Cup's going on right now, and you see all these players, and they've spent their whole lives disciplining themselves for this moment that they get to be a part of. You can pick any athlete, but I picked Messi when the World Cup at 38 years old, and he's still just a dominant force because of the level of dedication. Like he's not tolerating his diet, he's not tolerating workouts. He's like fully dedicated to it. Like one of the things I wrote in the email was like, it just has me questioning like, hey, how disciplined am I? Like 100% disciplined. Like how often do I just make up oh, I can just do this a little bit later. Oh, I can do that a little bit there. Like how fully disciplined am I? It just got me thinking, and it got me thinking about this topic, and just be like, okay, well, like pretty disciplined at times, but I also know that there's times that I'm not disciplined enough to just always be like that. Like I'll just tolerate not doing something for a while. David said my last 6 months just hasn't been the best 6 months that I've had on food and exercise and stuff. And it's like, yep, been there. Like we all have. And it's like it starts with one day, and then it's a week, and then it's a month, and then you go, oh, it's 6 months. Starts with $100 debt, then 500, then 1,000, then $10,000 debt, and you're just like, oh man, it just crept up on me. Like these things happen. So here's the last thing I'm gonna say. I want everybody to write down the following words. By, let's call it the end of next week, I will no longer tolerate blank. And then what is the action that you are going to take to make sure that doesn't happen? I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes. It's 2:48, 2:50, 2:51. By end of next week, I will no longer tolerate blank, and I will do blank to make sure it gets done. And I'd love to hear from as many people as we can on what that is. Because I think it'd be a great thing to check in, not necessarily on a call, but on individually, a message or whatever. Yeah, he's got something that they would be willing to share. What did you write down?
I do have something I'd like to work on and figure something out. Um, we have we dropped Zillow and we signed up for a new lead service. Well, it's driven, but we, are running some different campaigns, and it's getting the agents to follow up. So this last month we have 200 leads, and when I pulled it, there's 38 of them that still say new, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to tolerate that I have to call them and say, "Hey, look, you have new leads. Like, put an update in," and it's just like something has to be done to, like, maybe I need to be better at following up with them to see what's going on, or I have to figure something out because it's a lot of money to spend to have new leads just hanging out there.
Sure. How are the leads distributed among your team?
They're on a round robin to my top three agents.
Okay. So one of the things that I'm playing around with making a change to is our lead distribution on our incoming home valuation leads. And I'm talking with John and Jeremy together on figuring out, hey, what's the best way to do this? Because similar, right? We get leads that come in and they don't get handled immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that we're going to play around with doing is they're assigned to an agent, and then after X amount of time, if it still says new, then they become idle, and then they're going to get put into a pond that will be a free-for-all for people that want to go in and work leads that have not been touched by an agent. And we're playing around what that time might be. That might be like, I think I threw out there 3 days, which seems like a long time, but it's like, okay, if Friday, Saturday, Sunday was my thinking on that. Like, if you haven't been able to reach them, or and if maybe you might have called them, but you didn't put any notes. Like, if that hasn't been updated within 3 days, then it just goes into a pond for whoever. Might be something to think about if you haven't tried that.
I haven't really, I don't know enough about the ponds. Is that something that would be automatic, or that would just be like, hey, look, this is a new status more than 3 days? I would just physically move it to a pond.
No, it's automatic. So you set up on the back end of the lead assignment that if idle, basically, if the lead stays idle for, you can choose however many minutes, hours, days you want, then it will automatically go to, you select where you want it to go to. We would just set up a new pond called home valuations, and then it will just go into there, and it would notify everybody that a lead got put in the pond.
I'm interested to hear more about that.
I
That
can,
might be a solution.
yeah. I can shoot me if you want to shoot me an email, Kimberly. We'll find a time that I can jump on a 10-15 minute Zoom with you, and I'll show you that.
Okay,
Can
thank
I
you.
add something?
Yeah,
Can I
that's
add
great.
something?
Great one to put. What else did people put? What's something
Can
that
I
you're
add
not going to
something
tolerate any
real quick?
longer? Yes.
Okay, on the status for the new leads, you may want to check with the other agents, Kimberly, to see how they're assigning that status. Because, like on my team, we can change it to something else once we know what to change it to, but we leave it as new for a certain amount of time just to so that when we log into our CRM, we're like, oh yeah, I need to keep contacting these people for 7 times before I move it to the pond or move it to wherever. So that might be something before you just change it to make sure they're not keeping it marked new for a reason.
I I like that a lot, and I will check with them. I feel like they're just not following up, and but I
It's
like that a
highly
lot, and
possible.
thank you for that. I will do that before I go drastic and start moving things.
Kelly will be the words of optimism to our negativity, Kimberly.
That's all right. I sometimes I need to hear it because it's hard.
No, it's a good reminder, Kelly. I am not going to tolerate any not knowing about all my subscriptions anymore, so I'm going to make sure I go through them. I'm going to cancel the ones that I know need to cancel, which I know is at least 2 that I can think of. So we've got that going. Who else? By the end of next week, you're no longer tolerate what?
One of my things that I tolerate that it's really stupid that it's costing me money and I just tolerate it is paying for a CM that I don't use. And the reason I keep tolerating it is because I'm keep trying to find a replacement that will work for me. And I just haven't find one yet. And so I keep hanging on to this one, even though I don't use it and just pay for it every month. So I'm actually working on that. I'm gonna cancel it and then keep looking because I'm tired of paying for it.
Love it.
There's a better way for me to spend 500 a month than just paying for something I don't use for years, and I'm just kind of tired of it.
Yep. Amen. Steph, what you got?
Sorry, I was going to type mine in because I keep coughing. But I have that I will no longer tolerate not taking the time to log my data in CTE, and that I will do more time blocking to make sure that I do that. So that's my big one. And um, I've definitely been lacking in that. I've got all my papers that I have the dates on them, and I just haven't done it. So I'm going to start doing time blocking for that.
Love it.
Sorry.
And taking cough medicine. Love it.
I'm doing that at night.
Who
Definitely
else? One
doing
or
that.
two more? One or two more?
So I've done a lot of calls this week. My goal is to have every one of my clients and Terry's clients that I'm over called before our Cowabunga Bay event on July 14th, which means I need to call 25 people a day.
Okay.
My non-tolerate, and I've done a fantastic job, honestly, but what I'm not going to tolerate anymore is putting off the remainder of the calls to the next day. Instead of saying, oh, I could only do 15 today, I need to add those other ones 10 to the next day. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the full amount that I need to do each day. Find the time and block the time and make it happen, because it's easy to find an excuse to push it off to the next day. And right now I have a huge goal and I'm doing it. But what about the other days? It's so easy just to allow things to come up that I need to get in the habit of doing it every day, no excuses. So that's what I'm going to stop tolerating.
Love it. It's a good one. Awesome. Anybody else want to share what they put? Okay. Hopefully this was valuable. The idea was to just have us thinking about things, obviously, that we tolerate, but also have an actionable item at the end where we're like, man, if I can get one thing out of this call, if I can trim $500 a month, if I can trim $60 a month, if I can do the calls and stop making excuses, then hopefully like all of us can leave here and go, I got something out of that call because it's made me realize I need to do X. So that was the hope, that was the point. And again, I just think these are things that we should be thinking about on a regular basis, but we don't because we get busy and we tolerate the fact that we therefore don't. So full circle. All right, Todd's back next week. Appreciate you all. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for Mastermind, but we'll be back on the calls next week. No strategy call next week. It's the Mastermind call next. Nope, it's not the Mastermind call because we're in person. Strategy call next week. Ignore me. Both calls next week.
Hey, do you know who all will be there in person this time?
As far as I'm aware, I haven't heard anybody not coming. So I need to get final numbers from everybody, but so far I've only heard from people saying I will be there. So
Scott won't be there.
okay, well I haven't heard from Scott, so that explains why. Yeah, I'm gonna figure that out in the next few days. I'll get something sent out. Awesome. All right, we'll talk to you all soon.